Hello, thank you for joining me on my 365-day note writing adventure. My name is Anna Dalman. Welcome. It is day number 291 of my daily admonition, instruction, encouragement to myself. And I hope in sharing this that I'm encouraging you to show what consistency and what a focus on an outcome allows your mindset to grow, or to be restored to what you understood life to be all about in a more vibrant season of your life. So day 291, my note is as follows: why talking ourselves through issues is the means to change. Conversation does not happen in a vacuum. It's all about the heart, our inner person, where feelings, the will, and our intellect are the center of us. Our heart is the private and personal source of wisdom. It is our center of reasoning, where we process all the external lessons and choose the good and let go of the bad information. And that, friends, is how you develop a character. That is how you choose what you feed your mind with, so that what you speak and what you say and your actions are the result of what you've been putting in to your life, into your understanding, the knowledge base you're gaining. And as much as that is true in what you're reading, it's also true in what you're listening to. And not only listening to a formal means of teaching, for instance, going to church or a Bible study or seeing a counselor. Those are formal means of instruction, formal information sharing. It's what you surround yourself within your friendship circle. If they're not uplifting and building you up in how they share their lives with you, then you need to question, are they good for you? Doesn't mean you cut them out, but are they good for you, a good source of the encouragement you need for life transformation? Now, the reason I'm stressing that today is because we have been looking at how we build character and how we build up children. And it is true of little ones entrusted to us. And although I have not had any biological children, and some may say, well then, how come you can speak on what it is to raise a child? For many years, when I first arrived in the US, I worked as a nanny and a full charge nanny. That means these are the kids, 24/7 you're responsible. And then I went on to some other positions as well. So I've surrounded myself with children all of my life, most of my adult life. And then after that position, as the children got older, that's when I went back to school. And it wasn't part of the school, it was off-campus housing. I was a house mom to international students. So I've always had that. And then back in this geographical location, I worked with children who had intellectual impairments, and I helped curriculum development for them for a season, of course with other people's input. So I've always been around children, I've always been focused on that. And even though I have a master's degree, I think the best way to describe my preferred working experiences in life was being a nanny. I love character development. I like the formation and how you can guide and direct children. It is more difficult when you're working for somebody else and it's their children, because you have to not impose your will, your belief on them. They're not your children. So that makes it a little bit tricky. But if you are a responsible and a moral person, you take on more of the responsibility than actually should have been yours. So that is why I can speak into it, and I think I can speak into it with some kind of authority based on all of that. Doesn't mean I did everything perfectly. I'm human, obviously not. You're a parent, you may have 10 kids. You're not perfect, and there are areas in your parenting where you do fall short. But that's where the grace of God comes in. And we're not meant to do it perfectly, friends. You're not God. If you did it perfectly, you wouldn't need Him. You wouldn't need to point your children to Him or direct anyone to Him. You wouldn't need Him either. The reason why no one can satisfy us completely is because we need a God who does. He knows us better than anyone, and as well as those whom we are raising or sharing our lives with, He knows them better than we do, and in our imperfections we can rush to Him, and He will take care of them if they are looking to Him as we should. So, focusing on all of that. Now, I do have some more scripture verses I want to share with you today, particularly because I have said that the heart is our inner person, where feelings, the will, our intellect are the center of us, and it's the private and personal source of wisdom. That is what our heart is. Doesn't mean that because it's a private and personal source of wisdom that it is a wisdom that is uncultivated, without knowledge, without bringing in the information. It's, as I've said in the past, it's what are the facts of any situation. You educate your character, your heart, your soul, your will by looking at the facts, not at the emotions, not at the feelings, at the facts of what is true about life and situations. That's how you develop your character. So let's look at some scripture to grow us and to direct our thoughts. Of course, Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart. We are cautioned. We need to protect what we feed our hearts with, our psyche, our understanding, and our will, and how we're forming that. And that just brings to mind right now Ephesians 6, the armor of God, the full armor of God, where you put on the helmet of salvation. It's that you protect your mind, you protect your thoughts, you protect what you are thinking about through what you are reading and putting into it. So let's look at Matthew 12, verse 34, and it says the following. You brood of vipers, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. Friends, if you're doing nasty, ugly things in life, it's because that's what your thoughts are. You cannot act and do anything without it being in your will. And the only way it's in your will is because you have fed it into your thoughts. You have stimulated your thoughts. And when you're choosing to do good things, it's because you are stimulating what you are feeding your mind with and creating your character. Even more so, friends, it takes us back when we think to the raising of little ones, of children, people entrusted to us, or if you are in a mentoring, discipling situation in your life, how you're imparting information to other people, how you're correcting them. We've spoken about creating a bow, where in the ancient Near East they would bend the bow, and even if you make a primitive one today, you have to bend a twig, a pliable soft twig, and then tie it so it keeps its shape, and then you let it rest and dry so it stays in that rigid position that you've tied it in. And then we're talking about the rod of discipline that is bound up in the heart of the child. No different to you. I'm sorry, I just got a fright. I saw something move across in front of me, and I didn't know what it was. And friends, that's the reaction I had to a fly. I am so sorry, but I'm not going to edit out because that makes me transparent, and I don't like flies. And how did it get into this room? I'll take care of that later. But the rod of discipline means the means of correction. Isn't it more important to communicate effectively, to bring a mindset of change to a child that is crying and out of control because they are misbehaving, or they've had some sensory stimulation and they are having a meltdown? You cannot speak to a child in a moment like that and expect them to grasp what you're saying. Their emotions, they are overflowing. The ocean of emotions is bubbling up and the waves are going around them. You need to wait for them to calm down. That is why spanking a child in the heat of a moment is not right discipline. They are not going to learn. You don't learn in your great emotional bubbling up as an adult. You don't learn in moments like that. It is responsive You need to calm down and be rational and think about what's going on around you. Objective. A child can be reasoned with objectively. They need to put on their ears, their listening ears, and unless they are calm, they cannot put on their hearing ears, their listening, their capability to respond in a rational way. You wouldn't want somebody to, as an adult, to pour out information at you and shout and scream and holler at you when you are having a great difficult moment in a personal crisis. Now, children are developing. They are having that related to their functioning and life experience ability in their littleness. Surely we can have compassion for that and respond in a gracious way. So I will call this my fly episode because of that fly that zoomed past me and crawled around, and it just shocked me. A surprise. Friends, I hope that encourages you. It should give you more compassion towards yourself, and knowing that when you in great overstimulated moments that you are not going to be responding calmly. However, as you continue to rehearse all the calm responses that you need based on the knowledge that you know is true about life, you will improve over time. The anxiety will go, the depression will ease. You will be functioning at a greater way. As much as that is true for you, it's true for the little ones in our lives too. So, friends, until tomorrow, friends, take care and God bless. We will talk again. Bye-bye for now.